Alright, so this is the second video in learning how to knit. In this video we're going to learn the actual knit stitch. This is the fun part. If you are referring to this video just to take a look at what the knit stitch looks like really quick, let me go ahead and show you that real fast. If you are coming from my single cast on video, don't worry, your needle, your yarn tail is not on the wrong side. On the single cast on, your yarn tail should be on this side. But this is how we do a knit stitch. So this is just a quick full row of knit stitch, and there you go. That is one row of knit. Now, if you are first learning how to knit, I recommend about these size needles. These are what, a size 9. Go ahead and use any. I would recommend using anything between a size 6 to a size 10. I feel like any smaller than a 6 or any higher than a 10, and it makes it a little more difficult and fumbling. But to show you and to teach you knitting, I'm going to use these jumbo sized 15 needles. Things are monsters. Believe it or not, you can get needles larger than this too. There's some that are like freaking that thick, no joke. They're pretty awesome. Alright, so first of all, let's talk about how we are going to hold our needles. If you've ever taken a fencing class, and if I'm remembering mine correctly, you're supposed to cradle the hilt in your hand, similar to this. Knitting needles are pretty much the same thing, at least with the way I hold mine. I like to gently hold it in my hand like this, so it's at an angle. It doesn't have to be perfectly aligned with your wrist or anything like that. Just hold it gently. Little tip, make sure to try and hold it in a way that allows you to keep your index finger free to move. That'll help you advance a little easier. So both hands are going to hold your needles like this, just very gently. All right. And we want to take the needle that has your cast on into our left hand. And you probably want to go ahead and do about 5 to 10 cast-ons. I think I have like 10 or 11 here. I know it might be tempting to just put a crap ton of stitches on here, just so you can get that practice in, but don't. Go ahead and just do 5 or 10, anywhere between. You want to keep a short row. The reason being, because it's actually a little more difficult to do that first row of stitches versus the second. In fact, if you have anybody around you handy and willing, if they're willing to do that first row for you, that would be fantastic, because right now we just want to learn how to do that knit. If not, no worries. I didn't either, so it's okay. I'll lead you through it. All right, let's start off holding both of our needles like so. And we are going to do this a really simple way, and then you could advance the way you do it later when you get more comfortable. What we're going to do is we are going to lead with the tip of our right needle. Take the tip of your right needle and put it to the left of this first stitch. See that? This is our first stitch right here. Take the tip of your needle, the point to the left of your first stitch, like that, from the left front. And then we're going to turn it and push it through the loop to the back right. Go under your left needle. I'm going to show you this again. And the reason I am being so meticulous and showing you every little detail is because this is usually where the screw-ups and the confusion happens. So just go ahead and follow along. Tip the right needle, goes to the left of the first stitch, go down, through that stitch, point to the back, to the right hand side. Right, left front, down, back right, going through that loop. If you need to push this thing all the way up, however far you need to, even if you need to go that far, whatever is easier, just to get the technique down. All right, go ahead and hold both of your needles like this. Grab your working yarn. Once again, that's the yarn that is attached to the ball of yarn. Grab your working yarn, bring it down underneath and around to the left and up, put it through, between the two needle tips and pull down. Let me show that to you again. Grab your working yarn, down to the left, pull it between the two needles and down. Now go ahead and put that along your right needle. Grab both the right needle and your working yarn and use the tip of your right needle here. You're going to use the tip to bring this yarn through the loop. Let me show you what I mean. Using this tip, we're going to bring it down, grab that yarn and pull it through that loop right there. And the way I like to pull it through is that I'll bring that tip just like this and then push up. And then, now you have your right needle on top of your left. Go and push this left needle down and lift to the right to pull that stitch off the left needle. And that is your first knit stitch. I know it looks kind of weird right now. It'll look cute in a second. Let's go ahead and give this a tug. All right, so let's go ahead and do that again. I'm going to go a little faster this time. Okay, take the tip of the right needle to the left of your first stitch, down, pull through that stitch to the back right. It is going to get tight like that, don't worry. Oh, try and avoid doing this. That's just going to fumble you up. You want to keep your needles crossed like that. If you can, try and keep them crossed. All right, so you pull your needle through that stitch, grab your working yarn, and then bring it down around to the back. Keep it under your fingers, never wrap around your fingers. Let's see, under to the left, between the two needle tips, down, align it with your needle, grab both your needle and your yarn, use the tip of your right needle to bring that working yarn through. You're going to take the tip of your right needle on top of the left, push up, and then push to the right to take that stitch off the left needle. And you're probably going to want to you're going to want to push your stitches up like so. Make them a little more accessible, but hang on to them a little bit with your left hand. Now once again, we're going to take our our right needle to the left of our stitch, and then we're going to get our kitty out of the way. All right, the right needle goes to the left of the stitch, down through the stitch to the back right, grab your working yarn, whoops, let me fix this, working yarn, round to the left, up and over between the two needles, grab both the yarn and the needle, bring the working yarn through that stitch, then push right to slide it off. Go ahead and keep doing this for the rest of this row. You might notice that I'm holding, when I grab both the yarn and the needle, I kind of hold the yarn secure with my last three fingers. You can do that if you want, or if you find that fumbling, don't worry about it. Whatever is easier and smoother for you. Right to the left, whoops, to the left of your stitch, push it through that stitch to the back right, around between the two tips, and pull through. And go ahead and do it this way for the rest of the row until you feel comfortable. We're going to finish this row doing it just like this so I can show you. Now this is the time when you are probably going to accidentally create some unique, interesting knots. Don't worry about it. Everybody comes up with something weird all the time. You fumble. That's just what happens. You're eventually going to get it down, and even advanced knitters every so often will make a mistake and then look at our work and go, how the heck did I get there? You never know. All right, so that is our first row. So now what we're going to do is what's called turn. We are going to turn our work. And you see how now that our left needle is naked and all of our stitches are on our right needle, the way we turn our work is literally switch spots. That's all you got to do. The reason that this has a term, or excuse me, has a name, is because it actually becomes relevant in a little more advanced knitting. But for now, turn your work and start the next row. Go ahead and, at this point, I want you to just go to town. Do as many stitches as it takes to get comfortable. Get comfortable doing the way that I just taught you. And then if you're ready to do it the way that I did in the beginning of the video, without the cat, you might have noticed that I held my working yarn in my hand like this. Go ahead and feel free. If you feel like you're ready to do that, rock on. If not, take more time to practice. I was doing it this way by taking my hand off the needle and wrapping it around. I was doing it that way for ages, for a couple months actually, until my mother-in-law saw me doing that and very quickly corrected me. Let's talk about that for a quick second. This is the way that I hold my yarn. I am not saying that this is the best way to do it. I'm just saying this is how I do it. You do your own technique. I hold my yarn by picking up with my middle finger, bring it around my hand to the front, and then I put it under my middle, over my index. Then I pick up my needle like that. The reason I put it over my pinky is so I can control the tension like that. The more I push my pinky out, the tighter the tension. But really what matters is having control with your index finger like this. Now I'm going to show you how I knit using or holding my yarn in hand. Same thing applies. Tip of needle goes to the left of your stitch, down through the stitch to the back right, and then you'll find that I only slightly pull my hand away, just enough that my index finger can reach around, bring it between the two needles, and then to pull through. So you're not entirely depending on your left hand. Whoops. You're not entirely depending on your left hand to do all the work in holding both of the needles. You have a little bit of extra leeway. And that's how you knit while holding your working yarn. And you'll find that the yarn just naturally flows in between the fingers like that. Now you're not going to get this right away. If you do, you're freaking amazing. If not, don't worry, it takes time. And like I said, much to my dismay, I found that speed only comes with practice. My mother-in-law can knit a sweater, like, seriously, in a matter of, like, what, a week or something like that. She's insanely fast. I'm still trying to play catch up, and I've been doing this for a few years now. So yeah, just practice, practice, practice. Now at this point, if you want and you're having fun and you feel comfortable, go ahead and knit yourself a scarf. You now have all the knowledge to do that. It's simple as this. You just knit, 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 knit an entire row, and then turn. And, oops, and then knit that row. And just keep doing this. Like I said, go ahead and knit yourself a scarf or a washcloth if you want. Because at this point, now you can, and if you knit a simple thing like a scarf or a washcloth, that's going to give you all the practice you need to really feel comfortable with this and be able to move on. If you do decide to actually make something, go ahead and knit it to the length that you want, and then refer to my cast off video or any cast off video you want. Just whatever gets the job done. And then you'll have a sweet scarf. It'll be your first knitted item. And that is how you knit. Congratulations. Go ahead and move on to my next video, which is where we will learn how to purl.